Okay, guys, hey. So apparently we need a tutorial on League. I understand it is a very complicated game. I wouldn't say it's the most complicated game, but it's to the point of where I believe it, uh, tutorial video would probably help. So before you even get into the game, one of the big things is understanding the different champions, items, and thing called runes. So I guess the first thing we're gonna go into here is actually runes, because these are one of the most important things, because these can really make or break a champion, and they can really change up your play style based on how you do things. So here, let me go into something that I'm not really using. Okay. So let's just delete this room page. So to get to room pages, you just go to this little backpack and then go under the runes. You can see all these different runes to create a new rune page. Usually you have about 5, I believe. As you can see, you can use blue essence to get more. You use about 6,300 blue essence to get another one. I don't know about max capacity. I think it's like 20. But anyways, so when you go to career room page, you have the choice of these 5. And each one is actually pretty well descriptive of what it does. So inspiration, to put it simply, as it really messes with the game. It can really make or break, um, maybe like certain champions. It can make you move in unexpected ways and change around things. It's really hard to describe, but you'll see why in a little bit. Then there's resolve. Resolve is usually reserved for tanks and people who try to survive for really long, or are based around just taking a lot of damage and not dying, or taking a lot of crowd control and also not being CC'd for really long. Another thing, next one is sorcery. Sorcery is mostly used by mages and supports. It is, well, mage-based supports. The other one that a lot of supports like uses resolve, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Sorcery, so you have these, and then domination is mostly hunting down people, like doing lots of damage, but they're very burst damage related. So like one-shotting people and whatnot. And then finally you have precision, where it's very heavy sustain. You want to stay in the team fight because your champion ramps up over time. So I guess we'll go down the list starting with precision. We're going to kind of go backwards. So precision, you can see when you click on one, it opens up a page like this. So the very top of every single room page, you're going to have the ability to choose your main thing of one of the 5, and the secondary of one of the other 4 that you did not choose. So as you can see here, I chose precision, and I could choose either domination, sorcery, resolve, or inspiration as a secondary, and choose 2 of these secondary aspects as my thing. I'll show you in a little bit, but we're going to go through these. So keystones, you can kind of see as you go between pages that they all have different types of keystones. So I'm just going to kind of give a brief description. You can kind of read them on your own time to get the exact numbers and what they do. So press the attack, it makes you essentially attack. After 3 attacks, you do a lot more damage. Lethal tempo, your attack speed ramps up really fast, but only for a short period of time. Fleet footwork, every so often, your basic attacks will heal you, and you'll gain 11 speed. And Conqueror, as long as you're in combat, you'll keep generating stacks of Conqueror up to, I think it's 12. And at 12, you start healing for the amount of Conqueror stacks you have. See, you choose one in each of these 5 different ones. So keep going down all the keystones. Electrocute is every 3 basic attacks or abilities you hit someone with, it'll do damage. Predator, you chase someone down. Dark Harvest, if someone's low, you do extra damage for 1 strike. It's really good for popping people really fast, and it resets on kills. Halo Blades, the first 3 attacks you do, you gain a lot of attack speed, and that's about it. And sorcery, which is the blue one. You have summon Ares, so any attacks or any shields you do, it slightly increases. This is really good for healing supports or shielding supports like Lux or Echo, Sophilia, Sona, those kind of champions. And then you have Arcane Comet. These Arcane Comet is especially good on champions that do long range pokes. So champions like, you can look these up: Zerath, Vel'Koz, Azir. Those are all really good examples of champions that would do really well with this because they have really long poke capability and can hit from a distance, and then this will essentially hit them with another thing. And then you have Phase Rush. This has been used on a lot of different champions, but what it does is after 3 attacks or 3 abilities hit, you gain a lot of movement speed for a really short period. Resolve, you have Grasp of the Undying, so while you're in combat, every few seconds, you'll generate a stack for this, and whenever you hit an enemy champion, repeat, enemy champion, nothing else, only works on champions, you'll heal for a certain amount based on how much health you have, and also gain either 5 or 2 permanent health, depending on if you're melee or ranged. Melee getting the more of 5, whereas range gets only 2. You have Aftershock, where if you immobilize someone, so stun, lure, literally anything that stops them in their tracks, you will gain a bunch of resistance, and then after a few seconds, you'll just do a little bit of AoE. It's pretty simple. And then you have Guardian. So Guardian is really good for support champions or anyone who has a lot of resistance. Essentially, if someone takes damage near you, and you have this, and it's active, and it's not in cooldown, you will gain a shield, and they will gain a shield, and you will also gain a little bit of resistance. So it's really good for saving people, or really good for starting a fight. Then Inspiration. Inspiration is going to be the most confusing out of all of them. Mostly for the second two. The first one's pretty self-explanatory. So, Glacial Augment, if you hit someone with a basic attack, it slows them. Depending on if they're melee or ranged, it changes. But also this can work with if you have an active item, it'll shoot a ray of, I don't know how to explain. It shoots like a ray. I'll show you guys later in practice tool. It shoots this ray of ice, and anything in that ray will get slowed. And that's for active items only. And then you have second one for Inspiration is Unsealed Spellbook. You can change your summoner spellbooks every so often, and so you can like swap Teleport for Ignite or Flash for Smite, or it's really anything goes. The only thing that this doesn't affect is Snowball, but if you're an ERM, you could do Snowball, so kind of see how that works. You can change around your summoner spell. I'll go over that next, what those are. And then Prototype Omnistone. This is the most confusing rune out of all of them. Essentially, it will randomly choose one of the other keystones, any of these keystones, and you will have it for a little bit, and then you can use that keystone. And if you don't use it for 40 seconds, it'll change to the next one. But if you do use it, I think it's like a few second cooldown, and then it'll change a new one. Yeah, 5 to 3 second cooldown, then it'll change to a new one. And then, so it has a lot of there's a lot of confusingness to it. I guess I could show you guys it if you really want to, but it's typically never used because of how random it is. So let's go into these secondaries, because this is actually also, we won't go over the secondary path because literally it's just the same thing as these down here. You can see it's these 9. These also have 9, so that's all that is. So don't even need to worry about that really. So for precision, you have essentially Overheal, Triumph, Presence of Mind for this first row. You can only choose one from each row. As you can see, if you try to change, it'll only use those. So You guys can kind of take your own time to look at all these secondaries because there's a lot of secondaries. But this is the art thing I need to show you with the secondary. And since you can only choose two, you also cannot choose two from the same row. As you can see, if you try, it just will not let you. You'll just change them around, so it's usually the last two that you chose, or which one you select, which you check. And this last thing down here is another little row of 3, and it's the same idea as these. You can only choose one, and you can either get Adaptive Force, which means it'll either become AD or AP as you go into the game. This is a lot more useful for AD champions, as AD is harder to get in game than AP. AP actually gets quite higher than AD does. And then you have things like attack speed. This is essentially cooldown reduction. It reduces the amount of time for your abilities that you need between. So, like, kind of show you what that means. And then for these two, you can get magic resist or armor. I can explain those in the future. Adaptive Force, health, self. So pretty self-explanatory. I'm just gonna build like a page here. I guess we'll do one just to show you guys what this looks like. I'm just gonna use that for testing later on. Next thing you need to know is spells. So there are actually 10 spells you can use regularly, since Mark is only available in ARAM. So we're just kind of briefly go over that. You hit someone with a snowball, you teleport to them. It's pretty simple. So Ghost, you ramp up speed, and you can go through minions. Actually, it's not possible, but if you have this, you can just run through minions. Heal does exactly what you think. It heals you. Barrier creates a shield. Exhaust slows them and also reduces the amount of damage they do. Clarity reduces mana, but also the mana. Flash, just, well, that. Teleport, you can go across, you can teleport to any structure, unit, or other things. Important note for this is that if, let's say you're teleporting to a, this only can happen for towers, since other things like wards and minions, when you teleport them, they become invulnerable. But for towers, if you teleport to it and it gets destroyed while you're teleporting, your teleport will be cancelled. That is something important to clarify. Cleanse, if you get CC'd at all or stunned during this, break free. Also lowers the duration of any incoming CC. Important thing is it's duration, not actual CC resist. Because if it's CC resist, you would get reduced slows, but with this, it's just the duration of those slows or stuns or whatever. Ignite, you just light fire, also applies something called Grievous Wounds. Grievous Wounds reduces the amount of healing they get for a little short amount of time. And then there's Smite. Smite is typically, typically only used by junglers. There's no real reason to take it into lane, as I believe you get reduced gold actually if you use it in lanes a lot, so usually you want to refrain from using Smite. Most common things to use for certain roles, Flash and Teleport are the most common top lane. Flash Ignite is the most common mid lane, however Teleport is a close second, and Barrier is a close third if you're using someone like a mage or against like an assassin. ADCs typically go either heal or barrier. And supports either go usually flash, exhaust, or bear or heal. Another notable thing is that Ghost is typically used as it's a close second, usually used by champions like Darius, Darius, Olaf, really any bruiser that wants to catch up to you, just chase you down and kill you. Really, most champions like that, you want to use Ghost, but a lot more times Teleport is more useful in those scenarios. And that will be it for this video, because I don't want to make these run too long. I don't want these to be too complicated. I just kind of want to make it so you guys can go between videos wherever you need to know. So I'll see you guys in the next video.